Improve it. Improve it.
Podcast.
Improve it, peeps. Welcome to the show today. I am so grateful you are here. Happy New Year. And welcome to today's show, all about which core values help you hire and retain top talent. Now, before we get into the show, just a quick housekeeping item for you. My new book, I See You, A Leader's Guide to Energizing Your Team Through Radical Empathy, is available for pre-order and is going to be launched into the world, into the universe on February 20th. So here's what you can do. You can pre-order the book. And when you pre-order the book, you can get a free gift with your purchase through my website. It's erindiehl.com. All you have to do is jot down your receipt number, copy, paste it, put it in the little box inside it's erindiehl.com. And I'm going to send you a free 30-minute radical empathy workshop just for you. This is free. Because I know you. You're my Improve It peeps. I want you to get the inside goods. This will not be around post-launch. So this is only available for pre-launch for free for you. So that housekeeping aside, welcome to a new month. Welcome to January, where we are talking all about how to create magnetic cultures, which is the entire part 3 of my book called Magnetic Culture. Maybe you're listening to this episode and this title and this subject matter and thinking to yourself, I love the culture and community I currently have. Nothing needs to change. That's awesome. But my friend, there's always room for improvement. Or perhaps you're seeking a connection back to yourself or a deeper, more authentic connection with others. I've got you. Or maybe you're overwhelmed and you need quick, digestible tips on how to attract the things you want at work and in life. I am your gal. Or equally as important, maybe you're re-entering the workforce and you're looking for new ways to show up more confidently. Friend, I'm going to blow your mind. Get ready, because in today's episode, I will shine light on you and your amazing capabilities and help you see the magnetic force within you so you can become the selfless leader that you are meant to be. So I want to start off with a quick story, which is also in the book in part 3. I want you to think to yourself about a magnetic person in your life. When you think of a magnetic person, what adjectives come to mind? I want you to think of a person you deem attractive, okay? Do not Google them. I need you right here, not going down the IMDb celebrity page rabbit hole. Now think of a magnetic person you know in real life. Somebody who is not necessarily famous, but someone who is well known and celebrated in their day-to-day life. What qualities do they possess? Chances are, this person has a high sense of self-worth and sees themselves in a positive light. And by doing so, by seeing themselves, they can see the light in others and therefore are able to attract the types of people they want into their orbit. Now, we've talked ad nauseum, at length in previous months, all about self-love and self-worth. And now you know it's an inside job. And that inside job reflects outwardly. What you give outwardly is what is going to attract and allow those magnets to stick together and create awesome cultures, organizations, and communities. So, here, my friend, I want you to think about this. If you know or have small children, perhaps you've seen the famous toy magnet tiles. My son loves these. He has so many of them. They are not cheap, by the way, but they're an amazing toy. And these are tiles that come in different geometric shapes like squares and triangles with magnets at the edges of the shapes to connect the tiles together. And then kids then use the tiles to allow their creativity to flow. They can create buildings, cars, garages, whatever their little hearts desire. but the magnetic tiles attract each other to create beautiful sculptures. It's a collaborative effort on the magnet tiles' part, as each individual tile is different and holds a different weight and function in the final masterpiece. When children start building with magnet tiles, they lay one piece of foundation at a time. Each tile builds upon the next and the next and the next until the child finally finishes building their creation and stands back in awe at the beautiful sculpture that they've created. Organizations and teams are just like magnet tile creations. Each person is unique, bringing their own shape and perspective to the collective. And just like magnet tiles, you attract the type of people you want and need on your team by emitting the right energy. The current team member who is already part of the foundation must emit the right energy to the new team member to attract them and have them stick. While team members are emitting their own energy to attract this new magnet tile, they are also making sure that the new tile coming into the creation is the right shape and that their magnetic poles are aligned correctly. The new addition to the collaboration should be different and add a unique perspective. However, to add to the overall sculpture, it must understand its function and have a strong belief in what the sculpture brings to the world. It must bring its own set of values, but be in line with the core values that the sculpture embodies. That alignment with the vision of the creation is a value add. Core values are just what they sound like. The values that the sculpture, okay, let me get out of this metaphor now, that the organization believes in. They're what makes the organization function, and they are the core of what the organization offers the world. Let's examine this concept a bit further with a look at Improve It set of core values. So, that entire thing that I just shared with you, that entire story, is an excerpt from my book of part 3. And part 3 is really all about establishing core values, using those core values to hire and retain and attract top talent. So I want to start just by sharing with you Improve It's core values, because I think it's super important to this conversation. So our founding members of Improve It help create these core values, and I'm going to share with you how we did that in just a moment. We have a beautiful set of core values, and I'm going to list them off to you here. The first one is lead with yes and, which means we encourage and support others. We make space for new ideas and different voices. The next core value is explore more. We treat every day as an opportunity to learn. The third core value is drive results. We create goals that are measured. We break down dreams into actions. We evaluate each step and adjust as needed. The fourth core value is play and have fun. Could not be a professional development company that uses improv comedy if we do not embrace this core value, which means we encourage embracing your inner child. And the last core value is everyday leadership. We are leaders because of our actions, not because of our titles. Be the leader you want to be led by. I can literally picture us in our small office in the lower level, not to be confused with basement confines of our co-working space, creating these core values on one of those white sticky boards, and honestly having the best time doing it. It was such a wonderful exercise. But before we had this set of core values, we were not specific as to what we were attracting from a talent and a client perspective. It was kind of just like, whoever clings to us, and we'll say thank you. We did not have a clear idea of what would make our magnet tiles stick and who would be that value add. We knew the root of our company embodied the characteristics of a great improviser, which also make up the characteristics of a great human, but we did not have a way to measure results or success. So we developed our core values individually and then collectively. And you heard me list those just now. And I am going to show you today how to do this yourself create your own core values through a solo activity called Working on Your Core. And I'm going to help you do this collectively for your team, for your organization in a group activity called the Group Core Workout. These two activities are pulled directly from chapter 10 of my new book, and that chapter is called Attractive to Your Core. This is the sneakiest peek of the book, and because you are my Improve It peeps, you are getting an exclusive glimpse. So let's start off with this first activity called, what is it called? Working on Your Core. Stumbled over my words, y'all. That happens. So this is a solo activity. And just so you know, the back of every chapter, the end of every chapter in the book has activities that you can do as a solo activity and as a group activity. This is meant for you, the leader, or you, the person who wants to lead your team. You can take this back to your organization. If you are not the person in charge, take this activity back to your team, please. So here is the solo activity, Working on Your Core. Step 1, you've got to gather some materials for this. You'll need a timer, a sheet of paper, and a pen. Now you've got your materials. Let's head to step 2, which is to set the timer for 5 minutes and without judgment, write down any word that comes to mind to describe your own personal core values. Write as many words as possible without judgment and don't stop until the timer goes off. So some examples of core values could be adventure, family, fun, mindfulness, play. Now, step 3, after 5 minutes, look at the list of core values you've created. Set your timer again for 5 minutes and without judgment, circle your top 5 core values. Take the full 5 minutes to think these through, and if you need more time, take more time. Now, step 4. You're going to look at the top 5 core values that you circled, and you're going to write down these top 5 core values at the top of your paper. Step 5, you're going to choose 3 people in your life who you know extremely well and ask them to give you a list of 5 words to describe you. Now, an easy way to do this is to send a quick text that says, "Hi, Susan. I'm working on developing my core values for a project. I'm working on an Energy U." Energy U is the curriculum that you will see in this book. "Could you send me a text back with 5 words that you could use to describe me? I'll explain what Energy U is later." And you can take or leave the Energy U part, but you get the idea. You want to give these people a day or 2 to respond. But step 6, once you get your list of 5 words that describe your core values from 3 friends, compare their words with your list. Do any of the words have crossover or the same meaning? Using your list, as well as comparing the lists from your closest peeps, compile your top 5 core values into one final list. Step 7, this is the final step. Here's where you can get those creative juices a-flowing. Create catchphrases for the 5 words to use as your list of core values. So for example, let's say one of your collective 5 words was fun. Your catchphrase could be, "I see every day as an opportunity to have fun," or "I measure my success by the amount of fun that I'm having." The catchphrase uses the word to create a sentence, a tweetable, if you will. Keep your core values short, sweet, and under 280 characters. In other words, the shorter, the better. So that is your solo activity, working on your core. When you know your own core values, it's really easy to align yourself with others or unalign yourself with others. It is so important to understand your core values first before heading into this group activity. So you have done this activity, working on your core alone. You can now do this group activity, group core workout with your team. So step 1 in this is have everyone complete the solo activity before meeting collectively as a group. Step 2, conduct a group meeting and have everyone bring the results from their solo activity. I would highly suggest an hour and a half for this meeting. I don't like long meetings, but this is going to be a big brainstorm, so allocate the right amount of time. Step 3, using the core words instead of core phrases. So your answers from step 6 in the working on your core activity, you're going to appoint one team member as the scribe to take notes. You need either a shared screen or a large marker board for this next section. So if you're in person, a large marker board will do. If you're virtual, share your screen, pull up a Google Doc. Okay. Step 4, go around the group and one at a time have each individual share a core value. The scribe writes down the core value, only one word, on the shared screen or marker board. And as the group continues to share words, have the scribe start to compile the words into buckets. So for example, let's say that individuals in the group say words like fun, adventure, spontaneity, and play. These words are all grouped together in their own bucket because they are all synonyms. Another example would be words like professional, practical, and punctual. These words will be grouped together because they collectively mean the same thing. I had to clear my throat there. Step 5, keep this going until everyone has shared all 5 of their words and buckets of similar words have started to fill. As a group, look at the buckets. What is the theme of each one of them? Write that core word at the top. It is all right to use one of the words listed in the bucket. Now, note that the goal would be to have 5 or 6 buckets, which are then distilled into 5 or 6 core words. These words now become the starting place to brainstorm your collective catchphrases. Step 6, starting with the first bucket. Have the group brainstorm catchphrases for each core word. So let's say the first bucket's core word was play. A catchphrase could be play, learn, and have fun, just like you see in the Improve It core values. Do this for all your core words and make sure that everyone has a chance to share their ideas. Step 7, now that you have your collective catchphrases, it's time to create taglines underneath. For the catchphrase of play, learn, and have fun, our tagline is, we encourage embracing your inner child. This is much less important than the catchphrase itself, but it is important in helping support the main idea. Keep the taglines short and sweet. Step 8, now that you have all the collective core values listed as catchphrases and taglines created under each one, create a document that lists the core values. A fun place to do this is on a software system like Canva, where you can use visuals to get creative and showcase your collective brainstorm. Place them on your internal drives or in your physical office if you have one, and be extremely proud of what you've created. So, I realize this is a lot of steps. And again, this is pulled directly from chapter 10 of my book, Attractive to Your Core is the name of the chapter. The name of the book is I See You, A Leader's Guide to Energizing Your Team Through Radical Empathy. Once you understand these core values, you can use them to hire new team members, maintain and retain the amazing team members that you have, and measure their performance. Now, we have an entire episode from the vault on this. I had our client experience VP, Jenna McDonald, come on in episode 110. That episode is called Are You Hiring? How a Clear Set of Core Values Can Help You Hire and Retain Top Talent, with special guest Jenna McDonald, if you want to take this a step further. We use, just on a high level of overview of that show, which is in the vault, but we're going to link to that in the show notes. We use our core values not only as interview questions for hiring facilitators, internal team members, but we use these core values to measure our performance. Are we living up to the core values is really how we measure success. Obviously, there's other metrics such as revenue, and qualitative and quantitative metrics together combined showcase the evaluation of the entire person and the entire company. But I don't know where or what we would be without having these in place. It's really easy to see what is in alignment when you have your core values in place. It's easy to measure against. And I know from experience, when you start to feel that misalignment with the core values, it's not great. You start to question yourself as a leader. You start to question the performance of the person who is in question with the core values, and it starts to toxify your culture. This was one of the most pivotal things that we created at Improve It. It is one of the things that I am so proud of. And I could not write a book and not teach you how to do it and how to apply it. And so my Improve It peeps, I'm giving you this information today. I hope you buy the book. If you can't buy the book, you have this episode, okay? The book is $23.95. If you can't get the book, take down notes from this episode and use it. Bring it back to your team and apply it. But also, let me just say this. The group core activity is just as important, if not even less important than the solo activity, knowing your own core. You get to decide who in your life is in alignment with your core values, who is not. When you work in flow and in alignment with those core values, it's a much easier stream of well-being that can guide you to some of the greatest relationships and opportunities in your life. I'm so proud of you for taking this time to invest in yourself today. You deserve it. Your team deserves it. Your community, your organization deserves it. But most importantly, you deserve it. So I hope you're proud of yourself for what you've accomplished in these 20 minutes. This is a shorter episode for you today, but I wanted to give this to you because I felt strongly in my heart that as we start this new year, being in alignment with our core assignment is going to lead to such great fulfillment. I see you. I'm so proud of you. I want you to keep failing, keep improving, because this world needs that very special it that only you can bring. I'll see you next time.
Improve it. Improve it.
Podcast.